This morning, the trade war between the world's two biggest economies heating up. China slapping a new tariff on the United States, raising the tax on American goods to 125%.
As tensions escalate between two of the world's largest economies, the Chinese embassy in Washington issues a firm statement urging the White House to immediately correct its wrongdoings. The warning is clear. If American tariffs remain, China will, quote, continue to the end. This brewing economic conflict has drawn intense scrutiny not only from economists but also from diplomats and strategists. Among them, former UN Ambassador John Bolton, who served in the first Trump administration.
So, Ambassador Bolton, I know you're not an economist, but just from a strategic perspective, do you think China is going to blink and try to cut a deal with the White House?
It certainly doesn't look like it, but what Trump is doing is a huge opportunity for China worldwide. These tariffs are a form of economic illiteracy. Trump has no idea really what he's talking about. He doesn't understand how tariffs works. He has said as recently as a few days ago he views trade surpluses and deficits as like a profit and loss statement, which they certainly are not. So what he's doing has put us in a very vulnerable position, and probably in the worst position possible to go after the real country problem in the international trading system, which is China. Instead of taking on the country that's stolen our intellectual property for decades, among other things, by gathering our allies together, all of whom also suffer from China's intellectual property theft, and engaging in concerted action, we're at war with our largest trading partners while we're about to go to war with China as well. It simply makes no sense, and it's just sad and depressing that more Republicans haven't stood up and said that. This is illiteracy.
Bolton doesn't mince words. He calls the tariff policies a form of economic illiteracy, arguing that former President Trump fundamentally misunderstood trade dynamics, treating trade deficits like a company's profit and loss sheet. This miscalculation, Bolton suggests, leaves the US in a weakened position, fighting an economic war with its largest trading partner while alienating allies who also struggle with China's intellectual property theft.
Richard, what does it look like for Americans if the price of everything imported from China effectively doubles overnight? How much of that gets passed on to consumers?
Well, the ambassador calls it economic illiteracy. I've called it economic vandalism, because if you have 104% tariffs, what the effective thing is going to happen is two things. Number one, things simply won't be imported. It's too expensive. It's become unprofitable, uneconomic. Things simply will not be imported. Think about Christmas toys that just won't arrive. But there are many things now that, as the Chinese have reminded the United States in a commentary a couple of days ago, there are many things that the US only gets from China. Certain electronics, certain parts of manufacture, they can only now be received from China, and the US is going to find that they're going to be left without. They're going to be trying to source it elsewhere. And one point to remember, Anderson, tonight, oh yes, you've got the 104% against China, but you've got the 24% against Japan. And of course, there's the 25% autos. You've got the 15% against South Korea, and you've got the 20% against the European Union. So wherever you look at midnight tonight, the global trading network is about to come under the most ferocious strain that it's seen, certainly since the Second World War.
And the strain doesn't just stop with China. Tariffs now target goods from Japan, South Korea, the European Union, crippling a global trading system that has thrived since the Second World War. The long-term danger? Hard to calculate, but the signs, analysts say, are already flashing red.
Tariffs about to go into effect in China overnight, around midnight. How much more economic pain are we all facing?
Well, we're facing a lot of pain. And understand, we look at the Dow Jones and the S&P because those are easy numbers to track. But the reality is this is already being felt by families, partly because prices are going up. We already see the soft data showing us that there are a lot of companies out there saying, you know what, We can tell what's coming. We're just going to raise our prices now. And then if we need to raise them more later, we will do that. The head of the Fed said on Friday that this kind of across-the-board tariffs means prices will go up for families. We'll see more inflation. But he also pointed out unemployment is likely to go up as well. So there are going to be people who lose their jobs. We talk about this recession, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan.
Do you think it's likely?
Oh, I think that all of the signs, the economic signs, are flashing red. And remember, we lost 700,000 jobs a month in the last recession. Recessions are not just things that happen on Wall Street. They are things that happen family by family by family. And there are people who never recover from
Do you also
that.
see long-term damage done to just the credibility, the confidence, the stability of the United States?
Boy, you have put your finger on it. Yes. Donald Trump is demonstrating that so long as he is president, the United States is not a reliable trading partner, but also not a reliable ally. And domestically, think about what it means with these tariffs that are changing by the day. People are saying they're on, they're off, they're on, they're off, they're off, they're on, right? Who makes investments here? Who wants to say, I'm going to build a factory that'll take me 20 years to recover my costs without having some general sense of what it's going to be like and the ability to sell your goods overseas? You cannot plan. You cannot plan. And in fact, what often happens is people start laying off, hoarding their cash under these circumstances. That is the reason that it is now time for Congress to act. We have the power in the Senate and the House to roll back the authority that Donald Trump is using. It's a simple resolution. It will go to the floor. Senator Ron Wyden and I have introduced it, or will be introducing it the next day in the Senate.
You need how many Republicans?
Well, we only need a simple majority to get it passed. We may need more than that if the president ultimately vetoes it. But you know, this is the moment for Republicans. This is the place where it's right in front of them. Either they can continue to bend a knee to Donald Trump, or they can stand up for the people back home who are getting hurt by Donald Trump.